And today we have a very special guest, Takosha Swan. She is actually running for Lieutenant Governor here in Georgia. So I'm going to bring her up so she can finish introducing herself. Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Good. We can see you. You got
What?
nice light in the background, looking like sunshine. We love it.
That's exactly what it is.
Yes, yes. So please, I definitely, I said your name and the position that you're running for here in the state of Georgia. But please tell us more about yourself and where we can follow you.
Yes. I am Dr. Takosha Swan, and yes, I am here in the great state of Georgia. I am running for Lieutenant Governor of Georgia. My website, I'll put that out real quick, is Takosha, is TAKOSHA, just like it sounds, the number 4, Georgia, spelled out, .com. And if you go there, you'll learn more about me and why I'm running, but I'll share um, a little bit about that if that's where you want me to go, or you just,
Oh,
okay,
absolutely. Yep.
all right. So the focus of my campaign is unity and legacy. So when it comes to legacy, lots of times politicians, we put them in office and they come in to create their legacy, but they don't come in to create a legacy for the people who put them in office, for the citizens. So you finally have not a politician, but a public servant who will do that. But a little bit about my background: I served in the military. That's where my public service. I'll say that's where my public service started for the government. Before that, I grew up in church. My grandfather was a pastor, so I definitely experienced public service there first. Joined the military when I was 18, and 9/11 happened right after that. I joined the military in 2000, and then 9/11 came, and I went to war in 2003 in Iraq. And thank God I lived through that and came back. After that, I actually um, joined the Georgia Army National Guard as well. So I served in 2 branches. And during that time, I supported Hurricane Katrina. And so that was the beginning of my public service with the government. And fast forward, I ended up being appointed by Governor Kemp not too long after he was elected to be governor. I met him the first time that I ran for office. So this is my second time. The first time I ran for office was back, the first election was 2018, but it was around 2016, 2017 when I ran for state office, and the incumbent won. However, while I was running, anytime Governor Kemp's campaign, which he wasn't the governor at the time, he was the Secretary of State, but anytime his campaign needed support when it came to veterans, they called out to me. So I was helping with his campaign when it came to veterans. And ironically, after he was elected, a position became open for a state public office for veterans. And although many people put their resume in, I was appointed for that position because I was there during his campaign, even though that was not planned. I say that must have been planned by God. Served on as a state public officer for our almost 700,000 veterans in Georgia for the past 7 years. And I just resigned to run for lieutenant governor. There's more that I can do in this position. When you're in a position for 7 years, you do a lot. And if you want to continue to serve the people, then you need to look to see how you can do that. And sometimes that is moving into a new position. And so I'm running for lieutenant governor to ensure that I can do more for veterans and their families, but not just veterans and their families, but also for all Georgians. And so the legacy that I mentioned, I will be working on eliminating property tax for senior citizens, starting
Okay.
senior citizens. They work their whole entire lives to have a home
Right.
for their families, for themselves, so that they have something to pass down to their children and grandchildren.
Right.
However, you can pay your home off, and if you miss paying property taxes, they a lot of them have incomes that
Mhm.
are very low,
Right.
and with that, they may not be able to keep their homes, even though it's paid
Mhm.
off, because they have property taxes.
Right.
So I would like to eliminate property taxes for senior citizens so that they can pass on their legacy of land. They can pass on their legacy of property to their families, their children, and their grandchildren. So it's time to build legacies for the people. It's time for Georgians to have a legacy and not just politicians.
Wow, that's good, and thank you so much for sharing that with us, and thank you for your service, serving. My husband served as well because Iraq and Afghanistan, those were not, um, I would say, good times um, for American citizens, right? Or and for our soldiers because we didn't know really what you guys were getting into,
Right.
um, and we wanted to make sure everybody came home safely. And some people did, some people didn't.
Yes.
There was the whole Agent Orange situation that
Yes.
happened. There was a lot of things that happened during the Iraq War that people kind of forget only because we don't talk about it all the time.
Hmm.
It's the strangest conflict that we've had, in my opinion, because it's the one thing you bring it up and people just don't want to talk about it. They
Yeah,
don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, why don't you want to talk about it? Because there were a lot of things that happened there that people don't want to discuss.
that's right. It's very
And
true.
it's very unfortunate. Um, but um, but now we're in a new conflict, and of course, being someone prior military, and you running for lieutenant governor, I'm going to ask you, this one's different with the conflict we are in with Iran. And the
Hmm.
only reason I say it's different is because we're going into this with Israel. So it's not like it's just the United States going into this. So I'm going to let you talk because I know there may be some questions that come from your response, but I definitely wanted to get your take on what's happening.
My whole take on war, period,
Mm-hmm.
and having when I went to war, I was I want to say 20 or 21
Okay.
when I went to war. So, and that's most of the service members that go to war, they're young, very,
Mm-hmm.
very young.
Yeah.
A lot of us, we leave home and go straight into the military like I did. And um, when you're over there, you don't really know why uh,
Mm-hmm.
you're there many
Right.
times because we're trained to just, okay, if you receive orders from the president, then you go
Right.
because the president is the
Commander in chief.
commander in chief.
Yeah.
But on top of that, that's something that when you go in, and there haven't been any drafts for a very long time, so we all volunteer to go in. And although it's important for veterans and service members to be taken care of when we come home, it is voluntary, and we do choose to go. The um, the war, and really any war from the Bible days um, all the way up until now, is about resources. There's a scripture in the Bible, and it says that money is the root
Mm-hmm.
of all evil.
Yeah.
And when there's a war, people die.
Yeah.
And that is I don't support people dying in war. I believe that there are other ways, but unfortunately, just humans choose to move into the space of war. And that is why we have to have a military, because that's the way that things are set up in the world. And so for that, I'm glad that we have a military, because if we did not, we wouldn't be a country.
Right.
If we didn't have a military. And so when I look at this war, I don't look at this war really any differently when it comes to why there is a war right now. There is a war because of resources. And when two countries come together, or if it's one country, there is an alliance there for resources. They're just like the president says all the time, I'm going to make a deal. You know, there's a deal going on. And there are things going on that we don't know, right? Even service members, even when you're in the military, you don't know. You're just doing your part. And your part is to go over there and fight, you know. And so there isn't a lot of control there. The president has really complete control when it comes to the military and what's needed for the country. Also, he is privy to information that we are not privy to. And so when decisions are made, when it comes to the military and when it comes to war, there's really only so much you can say, because we don't know the whole story.
Yes.
And we probably never will. And if anything ever comes out, I'm sure it'll probably be 50 years from now. If it does, you know. And so I really look at things from that perspective, and being a veteran and having served in the war myself.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's very intense. It's sad, the infighting that's going on our soil with it. I still have other clips that I'm going to be playing after we have our exchange here. But I think the worst thing that I've seen is the messaging and how people have their view on Israel or not, right? And I had just played a video before you joined about a service member who has been told that he is a national threat to security because he doesn't agree with what's going on in Israel. And I'm like, well, how did we get here in our military? Right? I'm like, whoa, okay, that's not good. I mean, people should still be allowed to have their positioning and their freedom of speech. Now, I know within being a service member, there are certain things that you can or cannot have a position on, and it's unfortunate. I'm just saying, you can't take sides. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have to be Switzerland in essence, right? You cannot take sides. But I just found it interesting that it was like, okay, he could say death to whatever country and nobody would bat an eye. But is it because it's Israel that we have an issue? I'm just saying it's a sensitive topic right now.
Israel is one of those countries that there is, I don't want to say it even is, has always, again, back to the Bible days, there's always been a lot going on when it comes to Israel. So Israel is, from that perspective, they are special from that perspective, because you don't look at other countries in the way that you look at Israel because of the history of Israel, because Israel has a heavy impact on the world when it comes to the Bible. And so a lot of people look at Israel from the Bible perspective as well, because they first learned about Israel from the Bible, not from anything else. And so it's like the world view of Israel is biblical. So you got the people who support Israel
Mm-hmm.
because of that perspective, and you have people who do not support Israel because of that perspective, because people have their own interpretations.
Yes.
People have their own interpretations, and interpretations cannot be controlled.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can
Yeah.
never, they can never be
Because
controlled.
yeah, because they're still opinions, right? It is because you can look at it, and to your point, you can interpret it one way and interpret it a different way. But at the end of the day, there is fact in the material,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you just read it literally, there is fact in the material. And so you have to always take your feelings out of it and your ideology out of it as well. And so now we're going to get back to your run for the state of Georgia, because I definitely want to see you win as lieutenant governor. And you mentioned the property taxes for the elderly. Now, I know that there has been a state bill to eliminate all property taxes for all Georgians, which I would appreciate because, I'm an empty nester. So I'm like, why am I paying for school? I don't
Everybody,
have kids going to school right now.
everybody asks that question. Everybody asks that question.
Yes.
The thing is, property taxes is really is on the county level. It's on
Okay.
the county level.
Mhm.
And property taxes, it takes care of all the business concerning the counties.
Right.
And so, I mean, when it comes to schools, my children are still in school. I have two children who are, and they're still in school. And so,
Mhm.
of course, it doesn't bother me. I don't think it would if they weren't. If I'm living here and my neighbors' kids are going to school, would that bother me to support them? No. What bothers me is I think that's probably maybe the only thing on the property taxes that probably wouldn't bother me.
Mhm.
Um, everything else, it's everything else that's on there that I would have an issue with, and having to pay for a percentage of the value of your home when
Mhm.
you've paid off your home. Um,
Right. Yeah, if they didn't, I don't mind the tax part of it if it's a city tax, but why are you leveraging my home
right.
for the
And
taxes? It's that part.
yeah, that's the part that I do not agree with. And so, yes, for all property owners, because we have about 65% of Georgians own property. So
Okay.
that's a lot here in Georgia. So I am completely for everybody, right? Because I'm not a senior citizen, so I'm not even including myself in my proposal. But I want to make sure that, because I know that it's a process to be able to do that, right? And
Right.
there could be a bill out there, but the question is, if all of the if no one is paying property taxes, then how do you take care of the county?
Right.
Is the
Okay.
question. And so that's why I said, okay, let's do this. Let's take care of the senior citizens first, who soon will be passing down their homes to their children and grandchildren. And let's make sure they can do that. And let's make sure they can create that legacy. And then let's look at how we can fund and help all of the local governments to fund their governments before we take property taxes away completely. But I trust me, I'm a homeowner and I am for it.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad it's interesting because DeSantis started talking about it. Now we're talking about it, and other states are talking. They're like, yeah, this makes sense. And it's like, yeah. And to
Mhm,
your point, especially if you've paid off your home, why are you sitting around still paying taxes, right?
mhm,
That could take your home from you, right?
yeah.
Like I said, I'm not against, paying for, police officers and other things like that. But when you get of a certain age, you don't have children attending school anymore, you know, Should you be paying a lesser percentage? In my opinion, yes, but your house should not be leveraged for the
Absolutely
taxes
not.
in
That's right.
that part.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Definitely, definitely. Now, I'm going to ask the last question. So, you are running for lieutenant governor. I'm not sure how many people are running. I know of another person on the Democratic side. Um, are you running in a primary? So, or is that what is going to be happening in May? So they come up with someone to run on the Republican ticket in November?
Yes. So
Okay.
the primary is May 19th.
Okay.
I am on the Republican ticket. Um, most of the guys running, there's another lady that just she just entered uh, the lieutenant governor race, but we haven't seen her.
Oh,
Um, and that's not
yeah.
throwing any shade on her, but we haven't seen her. It's just been me and a few other guys. Whenever we go to
Okay.
forums or whenever we have to go up and speak, I've been, the only woman that's,
Okay.
sitting there, answering the questions.
Right.
And so, yes, we have other people on the Republican ticket. I don't give their names out. I give my name out because I want you
Okay.
to remember Swan.
Right. Right. So
Remember
that's who
Swan.
you need to go out and vote for. So if you're in Georgia, make sure there's early voting. Early voting starts probably what, April?
I believe it's April. I want to say April 27th. I
Okay.
believe is when early voting begins. And
Okay.
and the major day of voting day for the primary is May 19th.
May
And I don't
19th.
think that people really understand how important May
It
19th
is.
is and how important the
Yes.
primary is because, like you said, the people who vote in the primary choose who will be on the ballot in November. So
Yes.
you should be choosing who goes on the ballot in November. You shouldn't allow other voters to choose who you will vote for in
Right.
November. You should choose. And so in Georgia, when it comes to the Republican lawmakers,
Okay.
and when it comes to the Democrat lawmakers, every Black lawmaker in Georgia is a Democrat. We have zero uh, Black Republican lawmakers in Georgia. We have none.
Yeah.
And so, when the conversation, comes up in reference to um, the Black community, and I'll speak on that because I'm Black,
Yeah.
receiving support from the Republicans,
Yeah.
uh, we have to think about, have you voted for someone that understands your community um,
Right.
on the Republican side?
Hmm.
No, because if we have zero, and in the last, I want to say, over 100 years, we've had one.
Wow.
We've
Wow.
had one in over
Oh my
100.
goodness.
Yes, we've had one, Melvin Everson, and pray
That's
for him.
it. Yeah. You're
That's,
not wrong. That's
yeah,
crazy.
that's it. And so, my thing is here in Georgia, we can't complain about not receiving support on a Republican side if whenever you have someone like me step up to run for office and to support all people and actually have the knowledge of the Black community and the needs of the Black community, and you do not vote for someone like me, we really don't have room to speak on it
Right.
until you use your power to um, put someone in office that can support you on the Republican side.
Yeah. You got to start somewhere. And I would love for it to be you, only because not only do you have the Black community in mind, you've also got veterans in mind. You're speaking about senior
Absolutely.
citizens, you're speaking about children because you have children. So you're
Yeah,
very well rounded as a candidate. You're not just, thinking one sided on this
absolutely
issue.
not. Absolutely not. And I'll never do that. And when it comes to children, they're part of, the legacy in my campaign as well, because I want to put more in the public schools, more trades, so that the children can have skills when they graduate from high school that they'll have for the rest of their lives. You have these skills for the rest of your lives. You can start a business, and what can you do? You can pass those skills down to your children, and they'll have it for the rest of their lives. And so I'm here to build legacy for Georgians. And so voting for me, when you vote for me, you're not just voting for Dr. Takosha Swan, you're voting for your legacy.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I had one comment in here that says, why does skin color matter in racism? And I think when you were saying from the Black community, I don't think you were really referring to skin color. I
No, I
think you
didn't
were
say
really talking about representation.
I was talking about representation. I didn't
Okay.
say anything about racism
Yeah,
or
because a lot of times people will be like, oh, calm down.
yeah.
Don't get
I'm
too
talking
dramatic.
about a community. I'm talking about communities, right?
Okay.
Every community, if you're Asian, Latino, or whatever you are,
Right.
if I'm
Yes.
Asian, I understand the Asian community more than I understand the Black community. If I'm Latino, I understand
Right.
the Latino community more than I understand the white community. Right? That's just common sense.
It is what
And
it
so,
is.
with that, you need representation. All communities in Georgia need representation. So,
They do.
our the lawmakers in Georgia on the Republican side and the Democrat side, it should be diverse, so that we can
Mhm.
all come together, have conversations, and make sure that the needs of all communities in Georgia are met.
Yes. Yes. So everybody has a voice at the table. This is the constant thing that we complain about, right? Nobody's out there representing us. Well, we have Dr. Takosha Swan. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, look her up. Okay.
Yeah.
Please give us your information again, and I'll make sure to put it in the repost.
Yes. My website is takosha4georgia.com. If you go on there, and if you would like to contact me, if you have a group that you would like me to come out and speak to, I am available. And again, voting is May 19th.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on, sacrificing a little bit of your morning, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow because you're going to be at the Capitol, right?
I will be at the Capitol on Friday. I'm glad you asked that.
Friday, sorry.
Friday at 10 a.m.
Okay.
I will be at the Capitol filing for Lieutenant Governor.
All right. All right. Well, congratulations. And we are looking forward to you being the nominee for the Republican Party.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It was
All
my
right.
pleasure.
Thank you. All right, you guys. So definitely give her a follow, and I will make sure that we put her website in the repost of the show. So now let's get into some more of this news. And thank you guys for sharing all of your comments and joining me here this morning on Unfiltered Vision News. Now, I wanted to just check out the response from Speaker Mike Johnson. He just seemed very, how people get nervous? They're nervous. When I've never seen his body language or his voice sound like this.